Tonight, something important is happening very far from Washington, and the reason it matters is Washington. In Nuuk, Greenland, a city of fewer than 20,000 people, residents are asking a question that until very recently, they never imagined they would have to ask at all. What does it mean when the President of the United States talks about your home as if it were a piece of property? Because that is now the reality in Greenland. President Donald Trump has made clear that he wants the United States to take ownership of Greenland. Not partner with it, not defend it, own it. And according to people familiar with the administration's thinking, the preferred path is not diplomacy with Denmark, a NATO ally, but pressure on Greenlanders themselves, incentives, influence campaigns, financial promises, even disinformation. The idea being, if you push people hard enough, they will eventually say yes. But here's the problem. The people of Greenland are saying something else entirely. A 27-year-old student in Nuuk put it simply, all we want is to be treated with respect, not bought, not threatened, not discussed as if they were not in the room. And that theme repeats again and again in interviews across Greenland, from students to fishermen to the mayor of the capital city. Mayor Avarak Olsen says the president's rhetoric has changed how Greenlanders feel about America. It used to be a friendly country, she said. Used to be. Because when a U.S. president talks about needing to own someone else's land for psychological reasons and refuses to rule out military force, people don't hear strategy. They hear menace. And here's the key point tonight. Even Greenlanders who support independence from Denmark, even those who are curious about closer ties with the United States, say Trump's approach has pushed them away. One fisherman said the president's language felt like going back to colonial times. Colonial times. That word keeps coming up. Because when Trump jokes that Denmark's contribution to Greenland's security was one more dog sled, it lands differently in a place where dog sledding is not a punchline. It is culture, identity, history. So differently, in fact, that Greenland's Dog Sledding Association revoked an invitation to Trump's envoy. That is not symbolism. That is rejection. And the numbers matter here. Greenland has about 57,000 residents. In the most recent election, 85% opposed leaving Denmark to align with the United States. That was before the threats, before the ultimatums, before we're going to do it whether they like it or not. And tonight, Greenland's prime minister could not have been clearer. Greenland does not want to be owned by the United States, does not want to be governed by the United States, does not want to be part of the United States. And if forced to choose, they choose Denmark. They choose NATO. They choose Europe. That matters because Denmark is not just any country. It is a NATO ally. And the idea that the United States would even hint at using force against an ally has alarmed lawmakers in both parties. Enough so that a bipartisan congressional delegation is now traveling to Copenhagen, not to negotiate land deals, but to reassure allies. Even Senator Rand Paul, not exactly known for opposing Trump on foreign policy, summed it up bluntly. If I want to buy your horse, he said, I don't tell you I hate you and threaten to take it by force. That line landed because it's true. What we're watching here is not hard-nosed negotiation. It is the transformation of American power from something that once relied on consent and alliances into something that increasingly relies on intimidation. And the people feeling that most sharply tonight are not in Washington. They are in Greenland, where some residents now say they can't sleep, where dinner table conversations are filled with fear, where a friendly country suddenly feels unfamiliar. The White House insists this is about security, about the Arctic, about protecting Greenlanders. But protection does not begin with threats, and partnership does not begin with disrespect. And tonight, that is the quiet truth emerging from the Arctic. If the goal was to make Greenland want America, this may have done exactly the opposite.